Hey, yo, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Cheyenne.
And I'm Heather.
And so we have taken a little break from the channel. And we're going to come back and I'm going to let Heather explain what we're going to do new to the channel.
Okay, so we decided to revamp just a little bit. How we're going to do it is 1 week I'm going to tell a story that she hasn't heard, and she's going to tell a story that I haven't heard. And we're kind of just going to go back and forth like that.
So you will get legit real-time reactions. But first, let's get into some trigger warnings, and then we will talk about, she will talk about who is on the murder menu this week. Take it off with the trigger warnings.
All right. So trigger warnings for this episode is possible cannibalism, very graphic details, foul language, body dismemberment, rape, and animal cruelty. I'm going to be doing Catherine Mary Knight.
How come if it isn't necrophiliac, it's cannibalism? Like, I personally expect SA, but bitch, how the fuck is animal cruelty working? Never mind.
You're going to find out.
At least she'll have sex with a dog.
No,
Oh, bitch.
no,
That's too much. I was gonna say that's too much.
I had to think for a minute because there's a
You kind of look at like quiet. I'm like, oh fuck, here we go. Okay.
There's a lot that goes into this.
Okay, so
Catherine Mary Knight was born October 24th, 1955.
Bitch, I think that's like grandma's birthday. Either the 23rd or the 24th.
And she was the first woman in Australian history to ever be sentenced to life imprisonment without the possibility of parole. She was convicted of the murder of her partner, John Charles Thomas Pierce, in February of 2000, and is currently imprisoned at the Silverwater Women's Correctional Center in New South Wales.
Why do I feel like we've done a killer in South Wales, or was connected to South Wales?
I think we
have, or they're still on the wheel.
Catherine Knight was born and raised in an unconventional and dysfunctional family.
Oh, aren't we all?
Right.
Hey, we all a little fucking crazy.
Her mother, Barbara Rowan Thorley, had been married to John Jack Ring.
John Jack Ring?
Yeah.
You can go around the ring around.
And lived with him in the small town of Aberdeen in New South... Aberdeen. Sorry.
I'm pretty sure it's Aberdeen.
That sounds about right. Aberdeen in New South Wales in Hunter Valley. And they had 4 sons before Barbara began her adulterous relationship with Kenneth Charles Knight.
Wait. Isn't Barbara the mama? Oh, wait, never mind. That's where Catherine comes in. Okay.
Yeah. This is where
Catherine comes in. You adulterous whore.
Kenneth Charles Knight.
Yeah, Kenneth.
A friend and co-worker. He was a friend and co-worker of her then husband. Local backlash forced Barbara and Ken to move to Moore. That's how I'm going to pronounce it.
Oh, where are we at?
M-O-R.
Yeah, Moore.
Moore.
Oh, that's the Moore killers. Gotcha.
None of her sons went with her. The 2 eldest boys continued to reside with their father, and the 2 younger sons were sent and raised by her Aunt in Sydney,
By an aunt in Sydney.
By an aunt in Sydney. Yeah, I could not get that out.
Girl, you were trying to say Aunt Sydney.
Yeah. Barbara had 4 additional children with Ken, including twin girls.
So she had 8 children altogether?
Oh, yeah, this woman's a baby magnet.
Bitch, I have 6.
Oh, she's, yeah.
Mine? You can't even say, but you can't even go there.
Twin girls in 1955. And tint-filled Knight was one of these twin daughters in 1959. When Knight was 4 years old, Rain died.
Wait. Okay, so she's one of the twin daughters.
Yeah,
I thought you were
got a twin.
But you ran the sentence together, so I was like, it sounded like Knight was one of the twin daughters in 1959.
Oh, gotcha.
I'm like, wait a minute, wasn't she born in like 55?
Gotcha. When Knight was 4 years old, Rain died, and his 2 older sons moved in with Barbara and Ken.
So her baby daddy.
First 2 sons moved in with her.
Right, but her first baby daddy's the one that died.
Right. Ken was a violent alcoholic who would rape Barbara up to 10 times per day. Barbara, in turn, often told her daughters intimate details of her sex life and how much she hated sex and men. Later, when Knight complained...
Damn, that sounds like David's baby mama.
When Knight complained to her mother that one of her partners wanted her to take part in a sex act, she did not want to perform. Barbara told her to put up with it and stop complaining.
That's like the narcissist side of it, because I feel like I've been told those exact words, except my egg donor isn't a serial killer. Well, at least one that's been caught anyways. She could be. She's got the narcissistic personality disorder, so
I agree.
It's possible. Barbara told her to
put up with it and stop complaining. Knight claimed she was frequently sexually assaulted by several members of her family.
Happens.
Though not by her father.
It usually isn't the dad.
Which continued until she was aged 11, although there are doubts about the details. Psychiatrists accept her claims, and the events have been largely confirmed by other members of the family.
So she was sexually assaulted probably by like uncles or cousins, even brothers. Brothers is a big one.
Yes. Barbara's great-grandmother was an Indigenous Australian from the Moore area who had married an Irishman. Barbara was proud of the fact that Barbara was proud of this fact and identified as an Aboriginal. We'll go with it. This kept the family's secret, as there was considerable racism in the area at the time, and Barbara's descent was a source of tension for the children, apart from her twin. Her twin sister. I don't know why there was such a big space in between there, but okay.
You want to carry it away?
I think so. Maybe that's why it's so long. Twin sister, the only person whom Knight was close to was her uncle, Oscar Knight, a champion horseman. She was devastated when he committed suicide in 1969 and continues to maintain that the ghost visits her. The family moved back.
Wait a minute. What if Uncle Oscar was?
Yeah, I couldn't find anything about who actually did
Maybe
it.
she had a thing for Mr. Oscar.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's probably because there was nobody convicted of it.
Right. Yeah,
and she never openly said names.
I couldn't.
If she did, it was never public.
Yeah. The family moved back to Redburn.
Hold on a minute, where are we at? Aberdeen.
That word's going to get me every time, guys. Sorry.
Aberdeen. I'm pretty sure that's what it's called.
The same year. Oh!
Where did you go?
Hold on. All right,
there we go. I was like,
they moved back to Aberdeen the same year. When she attended Mouswick High School, Knight became a loner and is remembered by classmates as a bully who stood over smaller pupils. She assaulted at least one boy at the school with a weapon and was once injured by a teacher who was subsequently found to have acted in self-defense when not in a rage. Knight was a model student who often earned awards for her good behavior.
So she was a troubled kid, at least in school. Which, I mean...
Well, I mean, she's being abused at home, being sexually assaulted.
So she's acting out.
Right.
Not to mention she's probably being beat up by her older brothers and siblings.
Right. Upon leaving school at age 15 without having learned how to read or write, she gained employment as a cutter in a clothing factory.
What's a cutter?
Like a seamstress.
Like a hemster?
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough. Official at the local.
12 months later, she left to start what she referred to as her dream job, cutting up.
Guess that's where the dismemberment comes in.
Yeah. There she was quickly promoted to boning and was given... She started at cutting up.
Yeah, but the only time I've ever heard of boning
cutting up was a slaughterhouse. Was the name of a slaughterhouse.
And ladies and gentlemen, is where cannibalism came in.
And when she was promoted to boning, she got to bone and skin the cattle and stuff like that. And was given her own set of butcher knives. At home, the knives were hung over her bed. So, as Knight said, that they would always be handy if I needed them. A habit she continued until her incarceration. Everywhere she lived, townsfolk in Aberdeen later remembered Knight for physically threatening anyone who upset her.
Okay, so, here's my thing. How the fuck you gonna walk into a bedroom to get freaky deaky, look up, because motherfucker ain't looking straight down. Sometimes you gotta look up, and he sees butcher knives coming over the bed.
Right. Could you imagine if he wanted to get really freaky deaky and the knives?
But it makes you wonder, did she kind of use the knives as like a turn on,
sexual
like
object,
wax
maybe?
on, wax off?
And that's possible.
I wonder if it really works. I'll have to get a set and hang it above the bed. Me looking up, me like, ooh, you look very pretty today. Slice me dirty, baby.
Oh my god. Okay. So now we're going to move on.
All right.
We're going to move on to her marriage to David Kenlett.
It's always the Davids like the crazy.
Hey, we have a Kenny and a David in this.
I know. But it's always a David that likes to go, oh, crazy bitch.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. I mean, if you ask certain people that from my uterus donor, David has you as a side bitch, so apparently he just likes crazy bitches. Okay, moving on.
He knew when he married you, it was a package deal. So he knew what he was in for.
I don't think he fully understood the fine print. He's a man. He don't read the fucking fine print. Okay.
All right. Knight first met her coworker, David Stanfield Kent. She always goes for her coworkers.
I can't say much.
In 1973, Kennett engaged in heavy drinking, which stemmed from 2 traumatic incidences from his previous railway job in Coles Harbor.
Okay. Oh, railroad.
Yes.
Railroad. Okay.
Yeah. First,
Coffs Harbor.
Coffs Harbor. What'd I say?
Coos.
Okay.
It might be Coos.
I don't know.
Coof? Coughs? Kiffs?
That's one of them words that can be open to interpretation.
We're just gonna run with it. We're not Australian.
First, when his best friend was killed in front of him by a shunting accident.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know what that is. Stunting. Shunting. You're right.
Yeah, shunting accident. Later, when he rescued injured occupants of a school bus in Kempsey, when it had been struck by a train, killing 6 children, he eventually lost the job due to deteriorating behavior and performance. But he soon got work at the nearby there's that word again. Aberdeen Abattoir.
Yeah.
And became close friends with Knight's brother. Often,
it's always them brothers.
If Colette got into a fight, Knight would step up and back him up with her fists.
Okay, like, it probably turned him on. Because it was like, this bitch can take his dude off, fucking knock her out. Girl, where that?
It might have been the way I saved it. Knight married Kennett in 1974 at her request, with the couple arriving at the service on her motorcycle.
So he rode bitch?
Probably.
Good thing they
motorcycle with a very intoxicated Colette on the pillion.
I mean, he rode bitch.
As soon as they arrived, Knight's mother, Barbara, gave Colette some advice. This was her advice to him on their wedding day.
Okay.
The old girl, Knight's mother, said to me, "Watch out. You better watch out for this one, or she will fucking kill you. Stir her up the wrong way or do the wrong thing and you're fucked. Don't ever think of playing up on her," meaning cheating on her.
Right. Don't ever think fucking bitch.
She'll fucking kill you. And that was her mother talking. She told me she's got something loose. She's got a screw loose somewhere.
I mean, it's better than what my mom told her husband, so.
Yeah. On the way, yeah.
I mean, minus the alpha kill you part, but could have been a lot worse.
Yeah. Could have been.
Bitch, what? Okay, read that, because, like, huh?
On the wedding night, Knight tried to strangle Colette. She later explained it was because he fell asleep after only having intercourse with her 3 times.
Jesus Christ! I'm a one and done bitch! Okay, I know I used to be, but, like...
She was one of them women.
What?
Who...
Like, how the fuck is your, like, vagina not twittering and running and the other way? Like...
Okay, so either she was very...
Only had sex with a...
Either she had a sexual, like, addiction to where she needed it constantly.
Well, I mean, I like sex constantly, but not fucking 3 times in a
Or
row.
he wasn't getting the job done.
He probably wasn't getting the job done. Because
So,
this bitch was probably expecting him to, like, slam her down on the bed, strangle her ass.
no, and another thing,
Shit out of her.
it was on the wedding night, so she probably didn't have her knives hanging off the bed.
I mean, I was pregnant on my wedding night. I mean, 3 times?
Mm-hmm.
I can't say much, because on my wedding night, it was something like that. But, like, dude, just, like, fuck my brains out and send me to bed. Like, I don't have time for 3 plus times in a row.
Right.
Like, if you do the job right the first time, my vagina's quivering and running the other way. It ain't ready to hit it again. Fuck all that shit.
Right.
Who has time for that shit? Bitch, you're lucky he even got it up. If he was drunk when he was at the ceremony.
Yeah,
They didn't make none of that Blue Chew back in the day.
be happy he didn't have beer dick. The marriage proved to be very particularly violent.
Obviously.
Next time he'll learn she wants it more than 3 times.
Jesus Christ, that makes my vagina hurt.
And on one occasion, a heavy pregnant night burned all of Colette's clothing and shoes before hitting him across the back of his head with a frying pan simply because he had arrived home late from a darts competition after reaching the finals. In fear for his life, Colette fled before collapsing in a neighbor's house and was treated for a severely fractured skull. Police wanted to charge Knight, but she changed her behavior and to interrogating Colette and talked him into dropping the charges.
Okay, I can't say much because I was going to kill my husband over a can of Pringles when I was 9 months pregnant. Yeah. Literally, when I was pregnant for would have been Lunabug. All I craved was salty stuff. I know, ain't fucking healthy for you. Get over it. And I was craving, like, Pringles.
Mm-hmm.
And I literally, like, went to the grocery store. He went with me. I bought, like, 12 cans. And you know, I munched on them. But then, like, I went a few days go by, and I go to bed, and I wake up, and I'm like, man, I really want some Pringles. Open that motherfucker, and there were no cans of Pringles. I texted him. He didn't come home for, like, 2 hours after work, because I was pissed.
Why didn't he just buy you a box of Pringles and bring them home?
He did. But he knew he fucked up when he took the last can.
Oh, gotcha.
I can't say much. I was going to kill my husband over some Pringles.
So in May of 1976, shortly after the birth of their first child, Melissa and Colette left Knight for another woman. And
Knight left Colette for another woman?
Yes.
So she went from being
Colette
the bitch.
Colette left Knight. So he left her.
Okay, he was like, deuces crazy
yes.
bitch. Okay. Makes sense.
I mean, maybe this woman wouldn't want it 3 times and try to strangle him over it.
I said, oh, motherfucker! I mean, when you cut off circulation of this brain suit works. I mean, so it's...
to another woman, and he moved to Queensland. Apparently unable to cope with the abuse. The next day, Knight was seen pushing her newborn baby in a pram down to the main street, violently throwing the pram from side to side. She was admitted to St. Elmo's Hospital in Tamworth, where she was diagnosed with postpartum depression and spent several weeks recovering after being released. Knight placed 2-month-old Melissa on a railway line shortly before a train was due. She then stole an axe, went into town, and threatened to kill several people. An unsheltered man, meaning a homeless man, known in the district as Old Ted, who was foraging near the railway line, found and rescued Melissa.
That probably pissed her off.
But by all accounts, only minutes before the train passed. Knight was arrested and again taken to St. Elmo's Hospital, but apparently she recovered and signed herself out the following day.
Yeah, she just magically, crazy switch, just flipped that shit off. I'm cured.
A few days later, Knight slashed the face of a woman with one of her knives and demanded she drove her to Queensland to find Colette. The woman escaped after they had stopped at a service station. However, by the time the police arrived, Knight had taken a young boy hostage and was threatening him with a knife. She was disarmed when the police attacked her with brooms. These motherfuckers literally said, "Get back, witch, get back."
You bitch.
And was admitted into Moorset Psychiatric Hospital. So now she's been
Stop letting the motherfucker just sign herself out.
She's been to two different hospitals 3 times.
Understandable. Clearly, they should have stopped letting her out, but whatever.
Knight told the nurses she had intended to kill the mechanic at the service station because he was the one who repaired Colette's car, which had allowed him to leave, and then informed Colette of the incident. He left his girlfriend and moved to Aberdeen with his mother to support Knight.
No, you like them crazy bitches.
He really does.
Does she kill you?
No, this ain't the one she kills.
Oh, damn.
He just really gets ran through the ringer.
Well, that's his fault. That pussy might keep going to that movie.
Knight was released August 9th, 1976, into the care of her mother-in-law. And along with Colette,
kept her ass
moved into Lipswich.
Huh?
Lipswich. Oh, yeah, Lipswich. That's how I'm going to pronounce it.
Sure.
A city west of Brisbane. This is where she obtained a job at the Dynmore Meat Works. So she's back to slaughter.
Right.
On March 6, 1980, they had another daughter.
So this motherfucker goes back to her, creates one daughter that she tries to kill, and then he has another?
Right. So now this is her 8th child. They had another daughter, Natisha.
No. Her mom.
Oh, that's
Natisha.
right. Gotcha. Yeah. You're
She's
right.
baby number 2.
Yeah, this is baby number 2.
Okay.
Natisha Marie.
Yeah, that's pretty.
That is pretty. She's crazy, but she comes up with some pretty names for her babies.
I like how they spell Marie, too.
I know. In 1984. So she ain't very much older than me.
She's probably 39, 40.
I was born in 87. So
David was born in 87.
So she would be about 42.
Yeah, so she's not that much older.
Knight left Colette and moved. So she got him back. She got pregnant. Now she's leaving him.
Typical baby mom.
And moved first to her parents' house in Aberdeen. Then to a rented house in Millsbrook.
Nearby Millsbrook.
Yeah. Although she returned to work at the Albertor, I'm gonna say that name wrong every time. She injured her back the following year and went on to get disability pension. Since she no longer needed rent for accommodation close to her work, the government gave her a housing commission residence in Aberdeen. So she pretty much got what Job and Family gives.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we're moving on to her boyfriend or husband. I can't remember if she marries him.
She likes them Daves.
Dave Saunders.
David
Saunders. Knight met 38-year-old miner David Saunders.
Miner. Yeah, he was a coal miner.
Yeah, he was a coal miner.
I'm like, wait a minute. You can't be 38 and be a miner.
In 1986. A few months later, he moved in with her and her daughters. Oh, yeah. Although he kept his old apartment in Scone, Knight soon became jealous regarding what he did when she was not around and would often throw him out. He would move back to his apartment where she would involuntarily follow and beg him to return. In May 1987, Knight cut the throat of Saunders' 2-month-old dingo puppy in front of him.
The fuck did the dog ever need? Great.
In front of him for no more reason than as an example of what would happen if he ever had an affair. Before going on to knock him unconscious with a frying pan in June
Gotta
of
keep that
88.
cast iron handy, motherfucker. Keep getting one.
In June of 88.
Okay, so she would be a year younger than you and David.
Yes. No, this was when this happened.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
in June of 98.
She just hit him in the head. She just hit him in the head with the frying pan.
Okay, so you were a year old.
Yeah. She gave birth to a third daughter named Sarah, which prompted Saunders to put a deposit on a house. Knight paid off the deposit when her workers' comprehension came through.
Workers' pension.
Yeah, workers'
pension.
Same thing.
Comprehension.
But that's what it says.
No, you put comparison.
It's whatever.
I know what I'm talking about, David.
We knew what
I
we
do
meant.
the exact same
We
thing.
knew what I meant.
Yeah.
Came through in 1989. Knight decorated the house throughout with animal skins, skulls, horns, rusty animal traps, leather,
so basically
jackets.
the same way that my mom did our house.
Mm-hmm. Old boots, machetes, rakes, and pitchforks. No space, including the ceilings, was left uncovered.
Mom left the ceilings uncovered.
Okay. After an argument in which she hit Saunders in the face with an iron before stabbing him in the abdomen with a pair of scissors, he moved back to Scone, but when he later returned home to Aberdeen, Jesus, he found she had cut up all of his clothes. Saunders took a long service leave and went into hiding. This bitch is crazy.
He must not have given it to her 3 times in a row either.
Yeah, really.
I just don't see it. My vagina would hurt.
And went into hiding. Knight tried to find him, but no one admitted to knowing his whereabouts.
Bitch, I wouldn't either.
Several months later, Saunders returned to see his daughter and found that Knight had gone to the police and unjustly told them she was afraid of him. They issued her an apprehended violence order.
It's basically a
PTO.
No.
Or not
a restraining order.
Yeah. A TPO, sorry. A temporary protection order.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Okay, so John Chillingworth. In 1991, Knight became pregnant by 43-year-old farmer at Aberdeen co-worker John Chillingworth. She, like I said, she always had a thing for her co-workers.
I mean, and gave
birth to the following year to a boy. They named him Eric. Their relationship lasted 3 years before she left him for a man she had been having an affair with for some time. His name was John Price. John Charles Thomas Price was born April 1955. Was the father of 3 children when he began his affair with Knight.
Reputedly.
Yeah, reputedly a terrific bloke. Liked by everyone who knew him. His own marriage had ended in 1988 while his 2-year-old daughter had remained with his former... Oh. Where did I go? Hold on.
Right here.
Yep. All right. No.
Where did you go?
We're up. All
right, there you go.
No.
No. There you go.
Right here.
Former wife right there.
Yeah. Former Knight. He had ended up...
The 2-year-old children.
His own marriage had ended in 1988, while the 2-year-old daughter had remained with his former wife. The 2 older children lived with him. Price was aware of Knight's violent reputation. When she moved into his house in 1995, however, his children liked her. He was making a lot of money, working in the local mines, and apart from violent arguments, at first life was a bunch of roses. In 1998, Knight and Price fought over his refusal to marry her. In retaliation, she videotaped items he had allegedly stolen from work and sent the tape to his boss, although the items were out of date medical kits that he had scavenged from the company trash. Price was fired from the job he had held for 17 years.
Holy shit.
That same day, he kicked her out as she returned to her own home, while news of what she had done spread throughout the town. A few months later, Price restarted the relationship.
Oh, sweet baby Jesus. If you would have just walked away, motherfucker, you wouldn't be dead.
And this woman must have a vagina made of gold because every single one of them kept coming back.
I mean, if you're an easy lay, they're not going to say no.
So,
crazy bitches usually have the best.
Yeah. A few months later, Price restarted the relationship throughout. He now refused to allow her to move back in with him. The fighting became even more frequent, and most of his friends would no longer have anything to do with him while they remained together. In February of 2000, this is where we're going to get into the stuff.
The gory details.
In February of 2000, a series of assaults on Price they accumulated.
Yes.
One of them was
with Knight
stabbing him in the chest.
Holy shit.
Finally fed up, he kicked her out. So at some point, he let her move back in. He kicked her out of his house on February 28th. He stopped at Scone Magistrates Court on his way.
There's an orb.
On his way to work and took out a restraining order on her in an attempt to keep her away from both himself and his children. That afternoon, Price told his co-workers that if he did not come to work the next day, that it would be because Knight had murdered him.
Fair enough.
Despite their pleas that Price should not return home, he stated that he
was afraid Knight would kill his children.
Yeah, that he had been afraid that Knight would kill his children.
I mean, that's fucked up, but we're taking into account the kind of bitch we're reading about. I wouldn't past her.
That afternoon, Price told... Hold on, where am I at? Knight...
Right here was afraid to kill him. If he did not return, Price arrived home to find...
Price had came home to find that Knight, although not there herself, had sent the children away for a sleepover. At a friend's house. He then spent the evening with his neighbors before returning home and going to bed at 11 p.m. Earlier that day, Knight had bought black lingerie and had videotaped all of her children while making comments which have since been interpreted as crude.
Oh, wait. So she bought black lingerie, but then she was videotaping her children and saying inappropriate things?
Correct. That's what it's saying. Yes. She later arrived at Price's house when he was sleeping and sat watching television for a few minutes before taking a shower. She then woke Price and they had sex. after which he fell asleep.
Hold up. You got a restraining order on this bitch. You then in return say that you're afraid that she's going to kill your children, but then you fuck her. And then you have the audacity to go to sleep while the bitch is still in your house?
Like I said, she's got a vagina made of gold. At 6
Some
a.m.
motherfucker better talk and do tricks.
At 6 a.m. the next day, a neighbor became concerned that Price's car was still in the driveway.
I wonder why.
And when he did not arrive back to work, his employer sent a worker to see what was wrong. But both the neighbor and the worker tried knocking on Price's bedroom window to wake him up by the back door. Police found Price's body with night comatose from taking a large number of pills. She had stabbed Price with a butcher's knife while he was sleeping. According to the blood evidence, he awoke and then tried to turn the light on before attempting to escape. While Knight chased him through the house, he managed to open the front door and get outside. But he either stumbled back inside or was dragged back into the hallway, where he finally died after bleeding out. Later, Knight went into Aberdeen and withdrew $1,000 from Price's account at an ATM. Price's autopsy revealed he had been stabbed 37 times in both the front and the back of his body, with mainly wounds entering into vital organs. Remember, she was a butcher, so she knew right where to cut and right where to stab.
Or wouldn't affect the organs, yep.
Several hours later, Price had died. Knight skinned him and hung the skin from a meat hook on an archive, which is the arch that goes into your kitchen.
I know.
Okay, and a lot of the cops, I didn't write this part down, but when the cops had came in, they actually didn't realize that that's what it was. They thought that it was a rug hanging there. So they was moving the rug. They was moving it from a door into the lounge room. She then decapitated Price and cooked parts of his body, serving up the meal with baked potatoes, carrots, pumpkins,
so she made a roast,
zucchini and cabbage, and yellow squash and gravy into 2 settings at the dinner table, along with notes with each plate. She cooked him, and then she had put nameplates on the table, and both of the nameplates, they both had his children's name. So she was going to feed him to his children.
Oh, that's fucked up.
Each having the name of one of Price's children on it. She was preparing to serve his body parts to his children. A third meal was thrown on the back lawn for unknown reasons. They speculated that Knight had attempted to eat him, but she couldn't go through with it.
Nah, she was just going to feed some bitch to his kid.
That had been put forward in support of her claim that she had no memory of the crime. Price's head was found in the pot. When the cops searched the crime scene, they lifted up the lid to one of the to the pot.
Oh my god, dude!
And his head was in there with the vegetables.
Oh my god, no way!
The pot was still warm, estimated to be between 40 and 50 degrees Celsius, which is 104 to 122 degrees Fahrenheit.
Yeah.
Including that the indicating that the cooking had taken place earlier that morning. Somewhere later, Knight arranged the body. So she cut his body, she decapitated him, skinned part of him, and put his head in the chair in the living room. So when the kids walked in, they seen the headless body sitting in the chair.
Oh.
Walk through. They see his skin hanging and then his head in the pot.
Thank God for somebody finding him before them kids did therapy when you fix their eyeballs.
Right. Knight arranged the body with the left arm draped over an empty
1.25
soft drink bottle.
With the legs crossed.
With his legs crossed. So she posed him as if he was drinking a soda with no head.
Now it just kind of looks like you're getting an invisible dick in your mouth.
This was claimed in court to be an act of defilement.
I wonder why.
Knight's contempt for Price. Knight had left a handwritten note on top of a photograph of Price, bloodstained and covered with small pieces of his flesh. Now remember, she can't write.
Right.
But the note said, "Time got you back, Jonathan, for rapping my daughter." But she put doter.
Yeah.
You too, Beck, which is Price's daughter, for Ross, for Little John. Play with Little John's dick, John Price. The accusations in this note were never found. They were found.
So like she basically blamed it on him molesting her children.
She's accusing him of raping her daughter and then sexually assaulting her son. Yes.
Oh.
Well, his son.
This bitch is sick. Even though she only killed one person, she's fucking sick.
So, in the trial, Knight's initial offer to plead guilty to manslaughter was rejected. And she was charged on March 2nd, 2001 with murdering Price, to which she entered a plea of not guilty. Her trial was initially fixed for July 23rd, 2001, but it was adjourned due to her counsel's illness and was refixed for October 15th, 2021. Ooh.
Got a little ahead of yourself there, Haley.
Yeah. When the trial commenced, Justice Barry O'Keefe offered the 60 jury prospects the option of being excused.
Oh, yeah.
Due to the graphic nature of the photographic evidence, which 5 accepted.
Very true.
5 accepted when the witness list read out to the prospects. Several more also dropped out, after which the jury was impaneled, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
With it.
Knight's attorneys then spoke to the judge, who adjourned to the following day. The next morning, Knight changed her plea to guilty. Well, kind of hard not to be guilty with all the evidence.
Considering you were found in the house.
Right.
Comatose.
And the jury was dismissed. It was then made public that Justice O'Keefe had been advised advised of the plea change the day before. he had adjourned the trial and then ordered a psychiatric assessment overnight to determine if Knight understood the consequences of a guilty plea.
Oh, yeah, she wasn't that dumb. She may not have been able to read and write, but common sense, no.
And was fit to make such a plea. Knight's legal team had planned to defend Knight by claiming amnesia and disassociation.
Disassociation she probably would have got with, but the other one, no.
A claim supported by most psychiatrists, although they did consider her sane. 2 psychiatrists concluded that Knight suffered from borderline personality disorder.
Right, which isn't uncommon. I can see it, honestly.
No reason has ever been given for the plea, and despite giving it, Knight still refused to accept responsibility for her actions. So she's still saying she didn't do it.
That's fucking crazy.
At the sentencing hearing, Knight's lawyers requested that she be excused to avoid hearing some of the facts. So she did it, but she didn't want to hear about it.
So she wasn't more like the relive it type.
Right. She didn't get her jollies off by reliving it.
Fair enough.
Knight's lawyers requested that she be excused from hearing some of the actions, but the application was refused when Timothy Lyons took the stand and described the skinning and decapitation. Knight became hysterical and had to be sedated.
She probably just didn't want to come face to face with what she did, honestly.
On the 8th of November, Justice O'Keefe pointed out that the nature of the crime and Knight's lack of remorse required a severe penalty. He sentenced her to life imprisonment, refused to fix a non-parole period, and ordered that her papers be marked definitely never to be released.
Fair enough, because that bitch definitely does not ever need to be released.
The first time that this this is the first time that this had happened to a woman in Australian history. In June 2006, Knight appealed the life sentence, claiming that the penalty of a life in prison without the possibility of parole was too severe.
Zap, motherfucker.
Was too severe for the killing.
It was only too severe because she had a vagina.
Justice Peter McCallum, Michael Abrams, and Megan Latham dismissed the appeal in the New South Wales Court of Criminal Appeals in September.
Of course. I don't expect anything
with
less.
Justice McCallum writing in his judgment, this was an appalling crime, almost beyond comprehension, and a civilized society. Knight had became her time in prison. Knight has been reported to have been taken in a leadership role among prisoners.
What?
Among prisoners at Silverwater Women's Correctional Center.
I know you fucking
and
lying.
the mediator for deputies.
In disputes.
Yeah, of disputes. And a mediator of disputes.
No, you're fucking lying.
It was reported in July 2017 that to that point she did not have a record of, up until that point, she did not have a record of violence in person and hadn't received any charges.
Honestly,
So
she didn't have a record because nobody pressed it.
Well, what they're saying is, since she's been in prison, she hasn't gotten any more trouble. She's been a model prisoner.
Well, yeah, she'd rather kill dicks, not chicks.
Right.
Run, and I really wasn't going. Although she probably getting her rocks off with some of them shanky shanks up in prison.
I wouldn't doubt it. I mean, you gotta get it where you can.
I would
And
say
they have nothing but time, so they could probably give it to her more than 3 times. I
mean, this was definitely interesting, to say the least. I would have to say my holy fucking you gotta be, I know you fucking line is when she skinned the motherfucker and was gonna feed the motherfucker to her kids or his kids. That was a whole nother fucking level, dude.
Yeah.
And then I would have to say the other part was like she strangled a motherfucker because he only had sex with her 3 times.
Yeah.
I know you fucking lying, bitch.
Which most women would be like, why don't you strangle me? Like,
but also, most women are okay with riding bitch. That didn't come out right. I rebut that statement. Alright, that's gonna be this me.
Yeah.
Got me flabbergasted. That's gonna be a wrap on this week's episode. Once again, I'm Cheyenne.
And I'm Heather.
We have Insta, Facebook, YouTubers. Make sure you guys give us a like, a listen, a subscribe, or instead of a thumbs up, you can give us a fuck you. Actually, I rebut that statement too. Bye.
Bye.